Crash Site Expedition. A new expedition has arrived. Free content updates. Explore the Outlands. Yeah. We'll know more about this when I actually get to play with it. Missed it in our first run. Some cosmetics added. New prize pass. New items in the chests. Leaderboard rewards. Cool. So I think this means you can also change your title now. So if I need to go back to the menu. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, where did this come from? What is a Vanguard Trailblazer? Of getting a shiny library from Temple. Okay, I need to play with the new expedition. That sounds insane. Vanguard Trailblazer is open beta. Okay. Travel agent. Haven't seen this yet. Not sure how common it is, but could be another way to get to the expeditions that you want. You can play a random hero if you want. Cosmetic loadouts are now saved per hero. Cosmetic loadouts can now be randomized. I believe this also reset all of the cosmetic options that you'd already selected. Because I had defaults for pig. Yeah. I guess I gotta go in and redo all of my cosmetic selections.
Now that's a
I have to do this for every character. I didn't remember which cosmetics I liked. Oh no. So if I go here, yeah, they're all defaults again. Oh no. Okay, well, I guess. New style items, experimental garage. Yeah, we saw these in the previews, right? Fiery toxic scaling. Fiery and toxic now scale to 10% of the output instead of 5%. Interesting. They nerfed this to 5% back when Obsidian was still in the game, and Fiery and Toxic were the bad damage enchants already. And they just became really unexciting. Now we're back to actually having damage enchants again. Though significantly worse than Obsidian used to be. I'm not sure how many boards care about this. Because for all the things that currently are really good with Fiery and Toxic, this doesn't affect them at all, right? The things that scale off of regen or scale off of their fire or poison already tend to be the things that want to have this. Could matter for pistol sword sorts of comps to have a good damage enchant. Good in air quotes. I'm just reading about the damage enchants. Pretty sure it literally doesn't matter. These enchants sucked when they were 10% before. It shouldn't matter. Like, granted, they sucked when they were 10% before while Obsidian existed, and it felt bad to just not get Obsidian, but there's a lot of comps that don't even really want Obsidian right now. The defensive enchants are just so critical for so many builds. If you have any kind of scaling, you'd usually prefer to have the defenses. It's just so much easier to scale damage than it used to be. And usually if you're going to already be scaling damage, it's better to be scaling defense with your damage than just getting a bit more damage. Shield interaction with burn. The amount of shield reduction of burn is now capped to the current value of the shield when burn ticks. The amount of shield reduction of burn is now capped to the current value of shield when the burn ticks. So now if you have 5 shield and 50 burn, you don't just take half of the burn tick. You'll take reduction on the 5, and then the rest of the burn will overflow into your main health. That is a huge burn buff. Wait, why are we doing this now? Why are we buffing the strongest damage type? This is not insignificant. This is huge. What? There better be, like, giant burn nerfs as I scroll down. Like, this reads like it isn't that crazy. But there's so many games where you're throwing chip shield items on your board, and they end up saving you so much more life than you would expect them to against burn. Like a 10 shield item against 50 burn, saving you 25 life, or I guess 35 life. Don't worry, they didn't nerf burn at all. Huh. Yeah, shouldn't this also be Wait. Amount of shield reduction on burn is capped to the current value of the shield. 10 burn on 10 shield or more remains the same. Shouldn't it be 10 burn on 5 shield? Wait, how is this gonna work? I don't understand this patch note at all. I don't want to understand this patch note at all. Somebody save me. Self-destroy. Corrected an issue with certain self-destroy items not counting as used for other triggers when it destroys itself. Can we please fix this for transforms too? Oh my god, please. Please. It's so easy. Just... It would be such a big buff to Mac, too, in a way that really helps him out. Just letting me play Quicksilver to get an initial trigger would be such a big deal. It's not like it's something that he can't do. Like, you can play Flying Potion to get the first trigger. But being able to use Quicksilver to get your injection system would be so nice. Apparently it's not so easy. But, like, they fixed it here. I mean, I think they just don't care, would be my guess. I'm sure they're aware of it. I can't imagine it's an intended design that the transforms don't count as used. It's so unintuitive. 3D printer not triggering stuff pisses you off. Yeah, the thing it matters most for is definitely Quicksilver, but it matters a little bit for 3D printer as well. 3D printer has some weird quirks with it too, where like the haste on the 3D printer carries over into the things that it transforms into. Now 10 shield with 1500 burn on you deals not 750 damage, about 950 to 1200. Wait, if you have 10 shield and 1500 burn on you, shouldn't you be taking almost the full burn now? Or am I misunderstanding the patch note? You should be taking half burn on the first 10, and then you're taking regular burn on the rest, so it should be 4000 to 80, or 1480. Oh, 14... Yeah, depending on how you think about it, 1495. Because you're only getting the reduction on the 10, rather than getting the reduction for the full. Try to mirror with injection system. Yeah, mirror is another thing. I think it matters less with mirror, but might be some boards that it matters on. Anyway. More damage to health after shield reduction. Yeah, but it's way more damage than you're saying that it is. Like, it used to be you took just half of the burn tick. Now you're taking half of the your shield plus the full rest of the burn tick. So it's your shield value divided by 2 plus the remainder is how much damage you're taking. Assuming I'm reading the patch note right, but like, it's not the clearest patch note in the world. Okay, a number of monsters have their day 9 jungle expedition ticket changed to a day 6 crash site ticket. Corrected a general issue with some loot nodes not spawning the right. Not spawning... Oh, like on the right? Huh. Yeah, the chip shield doesn't do much now. Yeah. Chip shield's a lot worse. Burn is substantially better now because of it. Billboard option now gives plus 10 gold instead of 2 income. Good. It's kind of crazy that a gold item was giving you plus 2 income instead of value now. Big Bite Rice Baller is no longer the most absurd node in the game. Chili Charles, Slushy on a chilled slot has replaced icicles. Gained a chilled slot on ice cubes. This fight was already really annoying. Thankfully, you just never need to click on it because his drops are shit, but his drops are even worse now. He doesn't even have an icicle for you. Can I just pretend this fight doesn't exist? I was already mostly doing that. It is a lot of gold, though. I don't know. Aetherite is a little less good at giving you rigged because there's one more item. Infernal Frigate gained an expedition ticket. Joyful Jack doesn't have 2 days that he spawns in anymore. A bit harder for Mac to find EE. Gained a day 9 jungle ticket. It's a demon now? Wait, is it? They buffed laser pistol too. Oh, okay, I could see that mattering. click Chili Charles for money. Yeah, but usually one of the other fights has something good, right? 2 Busy Bees are now Obsidian and Deadly. Interesting. Product Demonstrator gained a rocket drone and recycler bot. Just this guy already has like a full board, doesn't he? Now it's actually a full board on day 3. Pyro gained a firebomb. Cinders is now bronze. Oh. Rip Pyro, I guess. I mean, you're still gonna click it when you have a burn board, but it's no longer guaranteed to give you something that improves your board. Fair enough. Product Demonstrator can kill you now. Interesting. Haven't done the Aetheryte fight math, but worth noting her force field doesn't get goggles crit anymore. Okay, let me just... What is the pistol change? Cooldown to 4. So it's what, 20 damage every 4 seconds? That shouldn't matter that much. If you were strong enough to eat a crit from Aetheryte, you probably don't care that Aetheryte has a laser pistol. If the force field can't crit anymore. Pyro's a tie with empty board now. Oh wow, this does that much? Interesting. Skill changes. Advanced Synthetics now spawns for Stealth when you buy this or level up. Upgrade a lower tier item. I like this change a lot. These always felt so bad to take just because they didn't do anything immediately. It's the same reason why like upgrading Langshan feels bad. It doesn't give you any immediate value. Now it does. Beautiful Friendship now spawns for Vanessa. I didn't know it didn't. Burn Containment gets fewer uses. Which one is this? This is when you shield charge a burn item? And is this the... One second. Let me bring up Bazaar DB. Okay, slow charge. And then this one was burn containment. Burn charge shield, yeah. Pop-up shows the old stat. Oh yeah, I could just say the card name and then it'll pop up. So Coolant Leak is the busted dually free skill, right? Coolant Leak? Coolant Leak? There we go. Oh wait, no, that's the bad one. Yeah, I'm not sure how much this matters. Yeah, this is slow charge burn. This is... Oh. The aquatic weapon skill got nerfed at higher tiers? Wait, really? What did this matter for? I thought this only mattered at bronze. Is it just bringing this in line with the other weapon damage skills? At higher tiers instead of low. Yeah, I thought the only thing that this mattered for was sometimes you got this on day 1 and you would lean into it for the first few days. I didn't think this going from 20 to 30 at silver ever mattered. It matches with any other skills now. Well, it's similar to strength, right? Where strength gets +5 per level. Usually the things that buff your whole board don't double with tier upgrades. Strength is more narrow. Yeah, I agree, but this one still starts at 20. Yeah. I mean, I'd say the starting is less important here than how it's scaling. As far as keeping the symmetry going. Because, like, the more narrow thing is going to be more powerful. You don't just copy and paste it. But they just don't want it more powerful both at start and how it scales. It's a strange change to me. I don't know. Desperate Cleanse now spawns for all heroes. I already assumed it did. Emergency Draught now spawns for jewels. Is this the double your regen? Yeah. So this was a Mac only skill, right? So now you can't get this from the Mac skill shop? Man, they keep making the Mac skills terrible. Remember when the Mac skill merchant was busted? You were just guaranteed to get something good. Because half of the Mac skills were the most absurd thing in the game. What are they now? is there a question mark? Hold up. Jerky. Oh. Okay, Mac deals. We have a couple burn triggers when you use a relic, poison triggers when you use a relic, slow triggers when you use a relic. And normally, your first relic activation is already your start, so these aren't really improving your start typically. Half-second freezes when you use a relic. Some regen when you use a relic. This one's good, but it's diamond. CDR is great. This is situational, but it's bronze, whatever. This can be cool. A haste on any item, that's fine. This is diamond. Heal and regen items cooldowns are reduced, but most of your heal and regen items are passive anyway. This can be good. More just regen on you. Your starting item already activating for the first time. This is fine. Diamond. Nice charge skill here, but very narrow. Diamond. Diamond. Vital renewal's fine. Diamond. Diamond. Garbage. Man, everything's either diamond or really bad. Or just really situational. You used to be able to get hardly work in here. The pool was way smaller, so you were able to find vital renewal easier. Stocked was really easy to find when you needed that. There's so much trash in this pool now. Like this whole row here. Toxic Flame used to be Mac only. I don't think so. Hardly Working was the big one that used to be Mac only, but isn't anymore. There's probably been more. And now this one. This one also used to be big for certain builds, though I don't think this has been big for a while. Back when Regen Mac was more common, this was a big deal. Emergency Landing corrected an issue where this was setting health instead of healing due to revive heal. Oh, right, Emergency Landing killed you. I thought they fixed that in a hotfix. That was in the game the whole patch? Okay. Everlasting Life corrected an issue where this was counting all item uses instead of heal and regen items. Cool. Hardly Working is now no longer a silver skill. Fair enough. It was a bit weird that this one started at silver and the other started at gold. Which one is Invigorating Blade? It's another one of the charge skills. Yeah, charge a heal item. Repair Mechanic, renamed from Master Mechanic. Now spawns for all heroes. Repairs items. Morning Rush. Tool instead of food. Outmaneuver spawns for dually. Sick burn, slow burn. Yeah, so all the charge skills are going to 4-8. I'm not sure that this matters for much. It's kind of a nerf to like Depth Charge and Weatherglass. A lot of these just want to get the first activation. And 4 is enough to get you to the first activation anyway. Maybe it's like a VAT nerf too, but I don't know. How often do you need 4 versus 8? I guess it could matter later on. Antimatter Chamber Repair Mechanic is crazy. Isn't that just Antimatter Chamber's nuts on Stel? I don't know if you really need to repair Antimatter Chamber to win fights. You said like earlier, probably a large amount of stuff just to balance for bronze, or fights probably go longer. Well, I don't think bronze players are going to be very good at abusing charge skills. This seems like the kind of thing that is targeted at the top end. Good for kick build as an insurance. Yeah. It's an alternative to getting Radiant, kind of. It's going to be really hard to find this on other characters, though, right? It's just going to be a generic gold skill with no tags. Like, you're never going to see this when you want it. There's probably going to be some rare game that you get a repair mechanic while you're in a burn build and you pivot to keg because of it, but I don't see that happening very often. Clockwork Blades. I don't think this makes any fights that much harder. I think all of the Clockwork Blades fights were all free. Yeah. Maybe this one with Toxic? But I haven't respected this fight at all in a long time. Is getting it mean you can pivot into, like, Dam? Maybe? That could be cool. Yeah, these fights are not close to being scary. He's vaguely less free, but still free. How much poison did this put on you? Because the Toxic also got buffed, right? It's a gold tier blade, so it's putting 8 poison on you every 4 seconds. Wait, is it 12? Oh, it's 12 because of initial dose, yeah. That's kind of scary. You definitely can't go here with just some bullshit anymore. But if you've got a reasonable board, you probably don't mind. The event always gives an item that gives a random skill. You thought you were smart by upgrading it to diamond, but you got the void skill, the broken item on both boards, so you screwed yourself over. Rip. Still good with any bullshit, but you can't full farm memory card and Walter Cooler. I don't know, 12 burn every 4 seconds with a petrifying gaze is kind of scary. Singularity is not a tech. Wait, no, why are we doing this? No, this... It's probably fine. It's probably fine. I guess Snowflake's rare enough that they want it to feel good when you get it more often. I have not profitably used a Snowflake in months. And I guess this is mostly just going to serve to make unbeatable high rolls a little more unbeatable. Pastry Cart nerf cancels this out. Oh yeah, you can just throw this on Pastry Cart. That's pretty gross. Pastry Cart was killed for that. I mean, people probably complained a lot about Pastry Cart. I don't know. People really hate permafreeze builds. And Pastry Cart is probably the easiest permafreeze build to get together. Chris gets buffed. Claw Arm to bronze. And we... What? Okay, the cooldown's at 6. This change scares me. Not in like a this is really gonna break the game sort of way, but we nerfed mech moles, right? Hey Leo, thanks for the raid. Welcome everybody. Yeah, we lightly nerfed mech moles. But now we have an alternative to mech moles that I guess it doesn't scale defenses for duct tape as well as moles does, but it does get you dead. Probably better than mech moles does for a lot of dually items. Like Claw Arm plus one of the bad hastes is probably better than mech moles plus one of the bad hastes. Single target scaling to the 4 borders is a trade-off. It's a trade-off, but it's not really that big of a problem. There are a lot of dually boards that only care about buffing one item. Like, you can still buff your drill, or your core, or your pulse rifle. And it does buff itself, too. Like, it's not the slowest item in the world. On first swing, this is hitting for 60. You get 5 seconds. Yeah, I don't know. It's not... It's just another option, I guess. But I do think this is going to kill you faster on average than mech moles kills you. You just don't get the defensive scaling. Like, this is way more aggressive than mech moles. If either of these is going to be an early game problem, I think Claw Arm is more likely to be game breaking on the first, like, 3 days than mech moles. Mech mole starts to get absurd when you can throw, like, 2 hastes on it, or you find the metronome. Claw Arm's kind of crazy just with a cog. Dualtron gets his damage back, but loses some shield. Sure. First Aiden. Cooldown to 4. Cooldown to 4. Wait, just flat all tiers? Cooldown to 4? Banana Ball? Banana Ball's insane? Dooley now has a way to trigger Overheal Haste reliably? While also going to the duct tape fight? Oh my god. Is Beta Aiden back? No, Beta Aiden was... Beta Aiden was like a trigger, wasn't it? I don't know if it's even here. It's Banana Ball, the day 1 fight. Yeah, it's like the May version, but it doesn't go far enough back. What was the original Aiden? Was it when you haste heal? Yeah, I think it was either 3 or 4 second cooldown. It hasted something, and the heal was in a trigger rather than part of the card's ability. Laser pistol, cooldown to 4. Cool. Left pad's wording is corrected. Tooltip was incorrect. Functionality unchanged. Cool. I'm glad they went with this approach and not the nerf left pad. Because, like, there's already a couple of alternatives to left pad. Left pad's not that much better than Cog or Power Sander. And in plenty of situations, it is worse than either of those. Like, it not being a relic can matter. It being a tech can be a drawback. But if you had it not haste on the first activation, this item just becomes terrible. Mech Moles. Yeah, we talked about that one. Plasminade. Slow targets left to right instead of random target. I didn't even know that was happening. Have I been punting against dualies all last patch? I should have been shuffling my board around every time I saw a dualie fight. Most of the time, left pad is the best of the 3. You're like the other 2 are better in different situations. Yeah. I agree with that. Pulse rifle damage goes up. Okay. So if we have silver claw arm, bronze pulse rifle, and the left pad, at 5 seconds, we're hitting for 60 on this. And this is hitting for 120. So 180 every 5 seconds? Wait, a little better than that. I didn't even count the buff. Can't do those in that configuration. You're hasting the claw arm. So it's friend, pulse rifle, claw arm, left pad. Missiles, claw arm, comp core sounds pretty strong for a while. Yeah. Claw arm weapon to the left. Yeah, because you can use it with core. You can like buff it with weaponized core, and I'm pretty sure. Yeah, weapon to the left. I do not know this. People haven't been playing a lot of claw arms recently. A couple patches ago, I played this pretty frequently. But like ever since Mech Moles got pushed to bronze, it's been rare that I wanted to pivot into a 20 buff when I already had an 8 on my whole board. That also scaled my defenses. They're a 10 on my whole board. Yeah, I don't know. With these numbers going up, could that to that. I could see it. Pyrocarbon redesigned, so no more Lizard Infinite with us. Feast 1, 2, 3 items for 1 second. When you burn, charge this 2. This is a buff. This is a insane buff. Wait, this triggers your core now. Huh. Yeah, no, one of the big problems with Pyrocarbon on a lot of the burn boards is that it's 2 slots on your board for a passive that doesn't charge your core. But now this is a 2-slot item that is probably the fastest item on your board by a good amount. You can play this with Launchpad too, and this is just trivially charging on ICD. But even if it's just this in the mid game with Ignition Core plus a soldering gun. Yeah, seems like a big buff to ignition, which I hope is fine. I was not a huge fan of Ignition Core last patch most of the time. I pretty much only went for it when I had a good enchant for it. I know there were some dually players that were jamming it the whole time. Tesla Coil starts at bronze. Cooldown 8765. Damage to 50. I don't know. Coil's a cool item. Virus cooldown goes down a bit. Cool. Caviar gives crit to everything instead of just food. And it's an aquatic. Chef's hat. Really? Huh. Is this the most playable item with an on-buy trigger now? I guess Light Bulb. This is better than Light Bulb, though. Not a huge deal, but cool change, cool change. Stand Mixer Deadly gives double crit chance bonus. I assumed it already did that. Give you a lot of zero value things. Oh, ew, gross. Well, banana sells for 1, but this could give you like a chocolate bar. Ew. I would not hate if they modified all of these effects, including the nodes, to make it give you something that sells for gold. Yeah, coconut, citrus, chocolate bar. There's a bunch. It's common, not hero. Common counts as a hero. Almost they coded this differently than the others, but I guess we can check, but oh, I guess it doesn't show it here. So far, common always counts as hero. Yeah. Wait, you're agreeing with me, right? Yeah. Because like the nodes that say from any hero give you common stuff. Stand Mixer, Farmer's Market, corrected an issue where this counted as a regen output item. Okay, but it still has the tag, and that's all that really matters. What did this matter for? Oh, it griefed skills, I guess. Feast, burn, and regen to 8. Sure. Fruit Press corrected an issue where Fruit Press could not press itself if it gained the food type. Oh. Could enchant it with the upgrade events. Oh, sure. Lollipop corrected an issue where it did not count as a quest item for triggers. Gingerbread House. It's when you use any food, so it works on itself now. I guess that matters a bit. If you get a big gingerbread house, getting shield on its own activation before the burn is applied could be a bunch more damage. Hot sauce, free to adjacent food or tool. It says multicast. So you can put this next to cutting board. It's not called cutting board. The bronze thing that scales burn. That's a big deal. There's a lot of early boards that want to fit in a hot sauce, but because of the way the heaters work out, you can't play hot sauce plus the kitchen thingy. Now it's much easier to get the multicast. Yeah, prep station. Mousetrap starts at silver. Okay. Oven corrected an issue where this was heating for 6 instead of 4. Pastry cart, when you use a chilled item, freeze an item for 0 or 1 seconds. Oh. So it's the same amount of freeze output, but spread worse. And I guess a lot worse with freezer, if that matters. I'm not sure how much that matters. I feel like when you have pastry cart, you're winning because you're perma-freezing their board. I feel like I don't like this change. I feel like this doesn't change the thing about pastry cart that is frustrating for people. I guess it makes it a little bit easier to go wide into pastry cart, and you get an extra couple seconds before your whole board is frozen. Just worse with freezer and blender. Yeah, but I don't think it's worse in a way that matters. Because when you're on the pastry cart board, the board's not good because it's triggering freezer exactly on ICD. The thing that makes that board good is it so trivially just perma-freezes the opponent's board when you have the right setup for it. Like, if your freezer kills them in 5 seconds versus 8 seconds, it doesn't make any difference. They're dead when their board is frozen. And I feel like this should be just as good at freezing their board. It does make it a lot less silly when you get a Sapphire, I guess. Yeah, or Snowflake. I don't know. Rolling pin, damage to 25 was 30. Scaling is slightly nerfed. Sure. Sentoku, the item to the left has crit chance equal to this item's crit chance. Okay, so now we have ways to scale crit on non-foods. This might be a big deal for Cleaver. Why nerf Rolling Pin? I think it was one of the better early games. It was really good when you high roll the hastes. I don't know. I could see it. It's not like my first choice for a Stell early game nerf, but I don't think it's unreasonable. When you high rolls, yeah, like I would nerf the Burn Lion before I nerfed the Rolling Pin, but I would especially nerf the Burn Lion after nerfing how Shield interacts with Burn. But not really what we're doing. We're buffing Spatula. Why are we buffing Spatula? Jules is weak. Why nerf stuff in the first place? Jules' early game is kind of gross. If you want to buff things, I'm all for buffing the mid-game pivots, but I don't think her early game needs any help. Especially not if we're nerfing how Shield interacts with Burn. Buffing her crit playstyle. Yeah, but this just like buffs the early Burn lines. It's already pretty easy to get crit on food. The cool thing with this is it lets you get crit on not foods. This just feels like a noodles buff. A lollipop buff. Jules was not unplayable. Jules was very playable last patch. Sushi boats. Gain 369 regen for the fights. Okay, what is the point of this item? What is this trying to do? I feel like I have to be missing something, because this seems like the most irrelevant buff an item has ever gotten. Do you really want to finish out games before day 12? Yeah, for sure. You had a hard time getting really fast starts that were strong. Freezer could do it if you high rolled the skills to make Freezer strong, but even Lollipop kind of wanted to get out before day 13. Takes a while to get the crit, so you need regen to survive anything. Are there... This is busted on several other characters. It is? It's just so big. I guess when your fastest items aren't heated, it's a little more interesting. Does it charge itself? It does read like it charges itself. It does seem to charge itself. It's bizarre, like it goes into loop mode. Sure. Was it patch note that it charges itself? Well, the patch note was just it gains regen. So, like, it can crit itself, but I think it always charged itself. Maybe. I haven't really thought too much about this item. A market and bread knife item? Is it? That's 7 slots on your board. Said other. Wait, did it? When you use a non-heated food, charge this 1 second. When oh, it says other here. Does it say other? Wait. Why am I here? I don't want the change log. Why am I still in the change log? Sushi boat. When any item on your board. Okay, so this did change? Do I need to show implementation changes? Yes. Deleted ability. Where is the added ability? I think it did change. I think it did. But I don't know where. Not a huge deal either way. I don't know, maybe there's... It just seems so weird to just throw Regen on this, but... Maybe there's some kind of market setup. It just seems like a lot of spaces. I feel like I'd rather be playing like an eggs than a sushi boat. Mac Adrenal Converter. Cooldown to 5. Regen to 5, 10, 15. So you're getting less regen, but the converter itself is faster. It's to charge cleaver. Oh, sure, because this can crit now. That makes sense. It's still so many slots. Maybe it works? I tried playing Sushi Boat Cleaver last patch, and it was not close to being playable. What if it's charging off of itself now and can crit? Maybe that's enough? That is big for it. That is big for it. It's just still not early haste, right? Or early crit. Sampler no longer gives an item flying at the start of fight. Is this a buff? I'm pretty sure this is a buff. Are we buffing Atmospheric Sampler? I don't hate this change, but I am surprised. Why? Did they just not like how random it was? Huh. Clara, when it's been terrible? What's your setup? Like, I usually thought the random fly on this was bad. It does make some of the day 6 samplers worse, I guess, when you only have one enchanted item. But, like, usually the sampler's just in your stash at that point anyway. Strange. Basilisk Fang starts at bronze. Cool. This is a pretty nice buff for Carpet. Just being able to find another bronze that can crit. The crit chance is pretty low. When you get to silver, it's not too bad. So what, you want Carpet and Fang at silver? Cool change. Cool change. Mortar and Pestle feels really nice on board now. I could see that. I could see that. Having another thing that you can buff early with it. It's a more reasonable scale. Dragon's Breath. When you buy this, gain a small burn item from any hero. Cool. Sure. I guess you're gonna buy this sometimes now. Earrings. Better with upgrades. Max health gain doesn't scale anymore. Sure. Lore Spike starts at bronze. Another bronze weapon. Another bronze poison item too. Makes questing a little bit easier. Another quest item that you, another poison item that you can find in the weapon shop too. You can get Sword Cane and Floor Spike at bronze. That's Floor Spike feels nice. What boards want it? It seems like it's another nice filler item to have. It's cool for questing. This to me reads less exciting than the Fang change. Fungal Spores loses Catalyst on purchase. Reasonable. This item was ridiculous. Fungal Spore is probably the Catalyst generator that did a bit too much. Ice Claw gets more damage and more damage. Interesting. I've seen some scary looking Ice Claw boards in the mid game, but on average, it's hard to find the freeze for it. There's just not that many good ways to get freeze. Now you need half as much freeze for it to have the same outputs as before. But like the amount of times that I've bought Ice Claw and then never found any freeze is a bit higher than I want to admit. So I guess you'd pick it up in the other order. You're like, find your Weaselpede. Try to turn it into an Ice Claw setup. Is Weaselpede even good anymore? Freeze an item. I mean, once you find the silvers, I guess. I don't know. A lot of setup. A lot of setup. Ouroboros statue loses a regen, sure. Corrected an issue where the self-poison clause only cared about items. Or Home of Yahan, regen reduction. Really? I'm a little surprised, but Tome was Giga OP. It still is. I don't know. It just seemed like a way that you could get some starting regen so that you don't just fall over and die when your start's a bit too slow. It's one of those things like invisibly powerful, I guess, but I'm trying to think. There's not very many fights that I feel I lose to Mac because they have too much starting regen. Level up. Property level up to 6 gold per property was 7. Fair. Reduce scaling on 28, sure. Aurora Dome doesn't have shield as an output, but instead is a freeze item. This is a buff. Just being another item in the pool that can give you freezes is kind of a big deal for making the freeze transition a bit easier. Also, before, this item didn't do anything on its own. Now this is something you could pick up as your first freeze item and get scaling out of it, even with no other freezes. This is kind of scary in terms of what it means for what pigs are going to be doing. Yeah, no, I feel like this pushes you much easier into freeze. Where the downside of the freeze board was there wasn't really a first item you wanted to buy most of the time. Like, the pivot into freeze almost always required you stashing an item. And then when you found the second, or sometimes even the third item, you're able to get a board together. Freeze got nerfed? Did it? Oh, Cold Room. I mean, this is probably a buff in the mid-game. This is also making it way easier to get into freeze. This matters, though. This does make the top end freeze a bit worse. Pivot into freeze because you got your Ladle as Enchanted Star. That was pretty much how I always ended up in freeze, yeah. Silver Cold Room was already bad, now it's rough. Well, you didn't really want to play Silver Cold Room before anyway. I don't know. If you're playing this for triggers, it's the same. The thing about Freeze Pig is it wasn't usually getting to the point where you're perma-freezing the opponent's board. It was just like applying enough delay that either your Enchanted Igloo or your Ice Club was able to kill. Or your Enchanted Burn item thingy. But yeah, like, Silver Igloo's better than it was. Aurora Dome's an easier first... Like, both of these are easier first buys now. And Silver Igloo is way better than Silver Igloo was before. Could permafreeze enemies with Hot Springs. Kind of. I feel like even when you're looping the Cold Room, it usually wasn't enough to permafreeze most boards. Cold Room activated every second-ish? A little over every second? To get 3 freezes for a second? Like, if your opponent was on a 3-item board, you could freeze it. But if once they started playing more cooldowns, you weren't usually perma-freezing. Add Booby Trap. Yeah, I guess maybe if you have Diamond Booby Trap, Diamond Cold Room, you could get perma-freeze. Even then, this is activating every other second? Yeah, I don't know. It was good enough most of the time anyway. Like, your clock was pretty quick on those boards. And even if you're not perma-freezing, it's just enough disruption that you're winning. Seeing more Square Pigs. I've played one run. I don't think I've seen a Crooken play yet. You could perma with Truck, Hot Springs, Room Booby. Oh, Fort. Sure. Yeah, I guess just most of the pigs that I saw weren't going for perma-free setups and just tried to end the fight. It does need a lot of diamonds before you're at the perma setup too, regardless of the setup. Cool. Diamond ointment's a bit better. VIP pass no longer buffs its own value. I don't even remember what this item does. I thought it just tasted properties. Is it still... Oh. I forgot it did that. Wrist Warrior loses the tech type. I guess it's a shorts nerf. Damage to 4, 8, 12, 16. Shield scaling to 4, 8, 12, 16. And now hits an adjacent instead of both. Deadly now gives adjacent shield items plus 30% crit chance. Oh. Okay, I get that we want to nerf Wrist Warrior. I get that this is technically, very technically, a nerf to Wrist Warrior. Are the uglier numbers worth it? Can we... What is this doing? This doesn't matter. This is... Right? There's no way this matters. You could maybe sell me on the shield scaling mattering. I guess they just want them to be symmetrical. Every number matters. This is like less than a 1% nerf. The 20% nerf day 1. When this is good, you have a damage skill on it. Like, Wrist Warrior is not good because it's base damage. It's good because you're scaling it. Plus shield scale. Yeah, you could sell me on this mattering. This is a bigger deal. And I guess maybe you just want the shield scaling to line up with the damage, and that's why they did it. I don't know. The numbers were so round before. Aviators. Charge also triggers on destroy. Cool, I guess. We nerfed this because repair was going to be scary with it. But we buffed it down here, even though repair is scary with it. Wait, is this a buff? This is on burn? Huh. I want to play with this. To nerf on both sides. Oh, I'm just reading things backwards. Okay, that makes more sense. I mean, it's probably a buff overall, just because repair. But did read that backwards. Keeps the scale damage when you repair it. Yeah, they said that in the announcement, right? That it was going to keep all scaling when you repair things. I thought this item was going to be crazy with repair. I was surprised when I read this backwards, but it makes more sense when I read it correctly. Box Cutter cooldown to 3. Damage reduction now lasts till end of combat only. Thank God. This was... I hated this. Oh, but it loses the scaling too? Sure. Whatever. The important thing is that it triggers the Ball Blaster. This is now the fastest Ball Blaster trigger until you get to golds? Is there a 3-second silver tool? You need like 1 burn item to kill people with Boombot? Yeah. Even just like a balloon engine with no fly stop is probably pretty good at winning the fight, right? You just like fly 6 items, have this at silver. 6 times 40 plus 40. Maybe not. If you haste it too, you get 2 activations. We'll see. Engine Journal is already good. You can kill them vaguely faster. Yeah, I like having an alternative for getting damage for Balloon Engine that doesn't involve finding cinders. Though, the package for this might take up too much space. We'll see. It did lose Firebomb, too. Firebomb always felt big for Balloon Engine to me. Like, this was usually the thing that I wanted next to my engine. It did everything you wanted. It let you stack burn easier, and it was a fly stop for you. Clockwork Disc gets a bit more damage, sure. Rocket Drone is Firebomb now. Oh, did we get a replacement? Okay. I didn't see that. Redesigned, cooldown to 3. Now it's a 1-second freeze instead of a half-second freeze. This was a half-second freeze, right? Yeah. That's... The repair drone is every 3 seconds, right? Huh. So if you can full board haste, you can get 3 freezes every 1.5 seconds for 2 small slots. And this is before we're talking about, like, parts picker stuff. And if this is diamond, you're getting another repair, too. Lava Roller Destroy Repair. Oh, I read this initially as you're only getting 2 Lava Roller doubles in a fight. That's not what that means at all. Repair means that's not how that works at all, huh? Okay. Lava Roller might be a bit cracked. Huh. Flashbang redesigned. Slow everything. Cooldown 6. Destroy this for the fights. Sure. Joystick starts at silver. 1 less charge. Cool. That's kind of a nerf to Ball Blaster, but also just a little bit harder to pivot into Workshop. Yeah. Well, this nerf was necessary, but might not be as big as it reads because of repair. Man, it's funny. When I first saw repair, I thought it didn't matter for the lava roller boards at all because you were able to just get enough lava roller triggers anyway that being able to repair the adjacents wasn't important. But I guess now that it only cares about adjacents and there's only 2 things you can destroy, repair for lava roller matters a ton. There are pretty few repair items, so it might be tough to get it fully up. Yeah. What is the other? So there's repair drone and... Wait, this is bronze? No, this is trivial. This is trivial. This lines up for the second ice bomb activation. You don't even need repair drone. Wait. It doesn't charge while destroyed. Oh, sure. I didn't consider that. Okay, so that's a reason why this matters. Calipers at bronze feels so good. Yeah, I could see that. I've always really liked calipers, but it was just so rare that I had a game where I was like in a board that cared about it and found it. This was always so nice to find for Ball Blaster. This going to bronze is a huge deal for Ball Blaster. This is a way bigger deal than losing joystick for that board. Paper Airplane to bronze is cool. Rocket Drone redesigned. Cooldown to 4, ammo to 1. Yeah, okay, so we just get the Firebomb back. This is the only bomb that really mattered to lose, right? This was the only one that saw play. This is less burn than it did before, but it does some damage too. The damage would have mattered more before they nerfed shield. What was... Firebomb was 6 on bronze, right? Yeah. Pretty big nerf to Firebomb. It's not another... Yeah, Rocket Drone was... I've tried to play boards with Rocket Drone. I never got it to be good. Sandbags gain some new texts. When this is destroyed, slow some items. This can be the other thing you put next to your lava roller. But you probably just want it to be bombs, right? You don't even need this next to the lava roller. You're just playing this to speed up the roller. If you even care about that. Maybe I think you eat with parts picker, maybe. If you want to play parts picker. Or... did they just not want it doubling? I feel like by the time Steam hoses gold, this doesn't matter very much, but I'm not sure which of these changes are like for power level reasons versus just them not wanting numbers to scale in certain ways for intuition's sake. Steam washer burn to 8, 12, 16, 20. Huh. And airplane's a bronze, so there's another vehicle you can play with us. Did not change the cooldown on it at all? Still 6 seconds. So what are the bronze vehicles? You've got the jetpack, airplane, balloon engine, but that's a medium. Steam hose was not nerfed enough. It's just a weird thing to change on Steam hose if you wanted to nerf it. I'm not sure why you would change the base burn at silver or gold and think that this changes the item at all. The base burn at silver matters, but like I feel like once you've gotten it to gold, the base burn's not the significant part of this anymore. Like I bought my fair share of steam hoses to just play as an 8 burn item. Or any fly cycle Karakara. I wonder how easy it is to get enough vehicles for Steam Watcher to be good on day 1. That's interesting. Squirrel Suit's a vehicle. Squirrel Suit Ornithopter is kind of interesting. You need the Ornithopter at a higher tier for that to work, though, right? Otherwise, your first Squirrel Suit activation doesn't do anything. You would need Thopter activating at 4. Yeah, Kite's a toy. Toolbox, cooldown to 6. Repair and haste adjacent tools for 2 seconds. Hastes both of them and is faster? Oh. I already really liked Ball Blaster. Oh. No, my favorite style item! Womp womp. Gotta find a curio, I guess. Toolbox still strong. In-game it says repair haste the item to the right. Okay. That's not as big of a buff then. It still being 6 instead of 7 is nice. I have had to play Toolbox on a non-zero number of Ball Blaster day 1 and day 2s. You're never excited about it, but it is nice that it's slightly less unplayable. Not a game OST. I mean, that kind of disqualifies it as a song request. Deserve more views on my videos. Thanks. Okay, Vanessa changes. Barrel cooldown up. Scaling up at higher tiers. So the barrel upgrade is a lot better. And scales from everything. Instead of just non-weapons. What's the name of the Vanessa tech thing that scales shield off of weapon use? Wetware. So you're losing 5 at each tier in exchange for not needing to play a tech and scaling off of everything? Barrel still adjacent. I haven't played Barrel in so long. Oh, never mind. Okay. Yeah. So you can put this next to a katana. At 6 seconds, you'll be getting 3 times 20 plus 20, 80 shield. I mean, that's not bad. It's a better day 1 win con than Life Preserver. Oh, wait, no, I'm counting it as 20, not 10. Never mind. That's a lot worse. Yeah, that's only 50. Calico base damage up. So a little bit less important to throw a damage skill on this for it to be good. Realistically, still probably only good with Shark Claws. It's for 90 at silver. But it is better on those boards that do scale it. Seems like a fine day 1-2 bronze option. Barrel? I don't know. I feel like I still don't want to ever play this, but... Like, if I'm on a weapon board, and I'm playing a shield item on day 1, the things that make me want to be weapons... I guess if I have right-handed katana, maybe? But if I've got Shark Claws, I'd probably rather just play 2 more weapons. It seems really situational that you would want this over other defensive options. Or just doubling down on attacking. Like, it lines up poorly with Volcanic Vents being 6-second cooldown. Which was kind of the problem with it before. Lines up even worse now. If you do have Shark Claws, you don't want to play 2 of your slots that Shark Claws could be buffing on a barrel on day 1. You're only buffing 2 things with it. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I've historically not even been a fan of playing Life Preserver on day 1. It gets a lot better, like, day 2, day 3, but... Day 1 Preservers have been pretty scuffed. Disguise. Corrected an issue where Turbo hastes a random item instead of the item being used. I had no idea. Flagship. Can now scale multicast off of relics as well, so you can get 1 more multi on Flagship. Cool. Flame Signal's burn goes down. Okay, the burn numbers on this were way ridiculous for what this item did. Like, you put Flame Signal on your board in order to get haste on stuff that you care about, and it just incidentally also burned for 10 at silver. I like this change. Grappling Hook does more reasonable damage. Love to see it. Illusory cooldown to 7. Cool. Random Signal wasn't that significant most of the time. In the late game, no, but in the early mid game when you're picking up Flame Signal, the difference between 5 and 10 burn is huge. Like, it's a 5-second cooldown item. Like, this stacked burn with itself. Obviously, it stops mattering, like, day 6, day 7, when your scaling gets out of control. But when you're still just trying to fumble a board together, getting that little bit of extra damage so you can invest more into defense, or just kill a little bit faster, was pretty significant. Like, this was never the reason that you played the item, but it was something that mattered about the item. Like, there's probably no board that won't play Flame Signal now that would have before. But it does make those boards worse. I have to see what the shield change. Okay. On that point, relative to the buff that burn comps get from the shield change, Flame Signal comps have gotten buffed. But if you look at this change in a vacuum, I do think it matters. I do think it matters. Integrated HUD starts at silver. Sure, this was so bad at bronze. Javelin, when this is reloaded... Wait, Javelin doesn't reload itself anymore? It's just a silver rifle? What? Was it like putting up crazy win rates on like day 2, day 3? I don't understand. An item can trigger reloads even when it's on full ammo, so it's much better than rifle. How many ways are there to reload it? Like, most reloads are pretty slow, no? Ramrod stonks? Is Ramrod fast? 3 seconds? Maybe. Okay. Powderhorn, Ramrod, ports. Yeah, I would say all of those are fairly slow when we're talking about buffing one item. I think nobody really played Javelin. Javelin was really good on like day 2, day 3. It wasn't like a good item, but when you got it ahead of curve, it was pretty filthy. I don't know, maybe they just think that it's more interesting this way. I don't know. It was just there. Most of the time I saw a Javelin in my shops, I had no interest in it, but I've had my fair share of games too where like I buy a Javelin on day 2 and it just solo carries a couple fights. Is that the best spot for a silver item to be in? Probably not, but I don't know. I guess it's cool that this gives Ramrod a thing to do. Pop snappers, ammo to 4 was 3. Sure. Port, heavy icy turbo, trigger off of ammo item use. Cool change, cool change. Other enchantments received buffs. How do you justify spending 3 slots on this? You get turbo, maybe? Maybe deadly. It is kind of a nice amount of speed. It can't get holsters, though. And you probably don't want to play this on your holsters board. Obsidian port is kind of nasty. Yeah, sure, but Obsidian doesn't exist. Icy port. Yeah, but Icy doesn't exist. We don't think about these enchants when we're talking about items. Don't worry about them. Don't worry about them. When yo oos an ammo item. Hehe. Obsidian is just pistol sword. Yeah, it's a pistol sword. Yeah, I guess it's just a pistol. Well, the pistol sword is the better active. And shiny is kind of whatever. I mean, double charging kind of nice. The big problem with port in these ammo boards is you probably never want to play port with holsters. You'd rather just play 3 more smalls than port. I'd like using port in the mid game with torpedo. Yes, I could see that, sure. Yeah, because torpedo doesn't get charged by Vanessa's quarters, right? It's not called Vanessa's quarters. It's just captain's quarters. I knew that. Tools and vehicles, yeah. I guess I could see that. I guess the problem with that is just like, which one are you buying first? I've been pretty low on torpedo in general. I guess if you've got a bunch of ammos, you can pick up torpedo first and then find a port. Reload the torpedo with ramrod. There's a weapon start and the torpedo in the port. My problem with torpedo with the weapon starts is I find that when I'm on the weapon starts, I often don't even have ammo items. My weapons are usually like the aquatics that don't have to worry about ammo. Or I'll have like 1 ammo item with my powder flask. And that's not really enough to make me want to play the torpedo. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Shark Ray buffed and nerfed at gold and diamond? Wait, really? Were late game Shark Rays a problem? I thought the scariest Shark Rays were the like day 3, day 4 Shark Rays. And I thought they fell off pretty hard after that. Getting them to diamond was the one way that you could salvage them into like a day 12, day 13 win if you needed to. Who complained about the water wheel sharks? Real question is, at any stage of the game is Shark Ray a real thing? Yeah, early Shark Rays were fine. Like, Shark Ray Beach Ball was a respectable early game. And it's probably better now than it was before. They just thought the scaling was ugly, so they made it so that you 100% have to hard pivot out of Shark Ray now because the scaling was ugly. Okay. Q-Blade cooldown to 6. Does that matter? It means if you're playing this with Oni Mask, you'll have the buff for the second Matchbox trigger. Or not Matchbox, later trigger. I guess that matters a lot. Those are like the only boards that I think care about this. Weapon boards usually don't kill until 7 anyway. You get your second Shoeblade activation at 12 instead of 14. Same timing. Oh, sure. It matters for that. That's big. Well, no, it's not big, because you were still getting the buff after. I guess maybe it moves your kill time to 6 instead of to 7. There are a lot of 3-second items. The 3-second items and the 2-second items all line up at 6. It's what? Calico is 7. Shuriken is 8. Grappling Hook is 7. I feel like 7 is always the kill timer on these boards for some reason. Or like the early pre-Shuriken kill time. Slumbering Primordial. Damage reduced, scaling reduced. Sure. I guess not even reduced. It's reduced at gold. I was already never playing this at gold. I feel like I never lose to this item at gold either. Cool. Sword, damage to 20 was 30. Okay. Primordial change is really strange to me. I don't get the point of this. Getting that extra second of charge was always the thing that made this feel playable. And you're still getting that. Okay. Let's make the upgrade fractionally more sexy. I guess, but it's coming at the cost of it being even worse at gold. I don't know. Like, pretty much every time that I get a gold primordial, it's sitting in my bag until it becomes diamond anyway. All is quiet. What is this? Yorm? Yorm? Friend? Love the color scheme. A cool piece of art. Zor change seems irrelevant. It matters a bit early. I don't know. It's not the biggest deal. Maybe a foe. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird aspect ratio for anything. Are there any assets in the game that are this wide? I guess it might just be like a slightly cropped large item. Or expanded large item. That would probably fit. Does this remind you of Tropical Island? Probably for the same reason it reminds me of Tortuga. Check image name. You feel a foreboding dread. But it's all transparent, too. Wait, what? Oh, this is partial transparency? I don't understand how anything on web browsers is rendered. Transparent gradient. It doesn't look transparent here at all, but... Is this not showing the asset? Because it's filled out here. Because it looks filled out here. Which classes do I think are most powerful after patch? The stealth changes seem kind of crazy. Vanessa didn't really get nerfed at all. I'm not sure how much this matters. I mean, this is a buff in the situations where Shark Ray is good, right? The best character got mostly buffs. The stuff that's good on Stell is going to be very different than the stuff that was good on Stell before, so it's a bit harder to evaluate, but it does read very strong. I'm not sure how much the Crook to Bronze matters. The freeze line being easier to get into is a little bit scary, but it might be fine. I'm not sure how much it matters. But the big weakness of the freeze comp was always how hard it was to get into. And now that's not as much of a problem. Sampler got buffed. The rest of this is not sure how much it matters. This change is so crazy to me. I'm not sure what this is for. Freeze changes 0. Crook to Bronze. You play Crook instead of Weights. Maybe. I mean, the things that are good with Crook are very different than the things that are good with Weights. I feel like the freeze board was good when it came together. There was just no reason to try to stay open to it because the pivot in was so tough. But if the pivot in is easier, and you can actually tempo into a freeze board, I could see it mattering a lot. But I guess if Crook is good and there's no reason to pivot out of Crook, then it won't matter. Weights are kind of OP. People keep saying this. I have not seen Weights be that crazy. Like, people are talking about Weights like it's this crazy early game pig lion, but like, I'm not even sure that it's better than the ones that scale defense with the offense. I'm pretty sure I've lost to more showcase boards than Weights boards. Isn't Crook really bad early because of no board space? Maybe. There's a huge difference. Well, yeah. Those are the ones where it's scary. But on average for Pig, I feel like the Showcase or the Ganjo boards are better when you don't hit some crazy enchant. But obviously when Weights is also scaling defense because you have a shield enchant or a heal enchant, it's a lot better. The dual changes are weird. This change is baffling. This is cool. I honestly wonder if the biggest change to Jules is just Burn got buffed. Where is it? This is the biggest buff to Jules. But like at the same time, Jules was also one of the better characters at getting chip shield. But she was probably the worst character into chip shield too. This is the most baffling change of the patch. I take it back. This is crazy. After reading all the patch notes, this change is crazy to me. We just like take the best damage type and make it better. Weapon Jewel is noticeably worse. Attachment set was carrying its mid game. Did attachment set get a nerf? Or did it just mean that the attachment set chip shield was big into burn? It's just small shield instances don't perma have it. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's a good change overall, but I think it's a really bad time to make that change. Like, the way that shield works now is the way that intuitively should work. But it seems crazy to do it right now. Burn shield change is great once you balance around it. Yeah, exactly. Like, I think this way is way more intuitive. It is a bit silly that random chip shield is so strong into burn, but at the same time, burn was still the best damage type, even with random chip shield griefing it so hard. Did they remove the 2 burn to 1 shield? So if you have 10 shield, you're only getting reduced burn on that 10 shield rather than the full burn tick being halved. So if you have... The way it worked before is if you had 1 shield on you and 50 burn, your next burn tick was going to deal 25 damage. Now it'll deal 48 damage. 49 damage. I'm kind of scared of this, but maybe that's just me. It has been a very long time since I played Claw Arm. I feel like the rest of these changes... Oh, Pyrocarbon, also a little spooky. But no guys in the portraits. They said on Discord there was a bug with portraits. 100 Baron versus 10 shield will do 80. It'll do 80 to your health, with 90 total damage if you count the shield as shield, right? Like shield as life. First Aiden being big for banana ball fights, big as well. More reliable trigger for overheal haste. This is like weirdly a big buff to drill. If that makes sense. It's a 4-second cooldown that hastes something, and when you get overheal haste, it's another shot and effectively rigged to get a ton of drill triggers. Yeah, the fast forward's a nice option. I like that. Yeah, I'm not sure how much all the charge skill charge reduction matters. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna take a quick break. Be back in like 2 minutes. When we get back, we will start playing all the other characters. Hope you guys stick around.